Let's talk about XRP for a second while everyone else seems stuck on Bitcoin. Seriously, it's all Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. Even Coinbase's CEO, Brian Armstrong, is chiming in about Bitcoin. But here's the thing. Everyone's focusing on the wrong thing right now. And no, I'm not saying it's just about XRP. It's about altcoins in general. Why is everyone still so fixated on Bitcoin when all the signs are pointing toward where the real momentum is building? The next big wave of money is heading straight for altcoins, and there are clear reasons why. Take ETFs, for example. A lot of corporate players are making moves, and XRP is right at the top of their radar. It's one of the most bullish altcoins out there right now. Companies are adding XRP to their treasuries or tapping into the XRP ledger for tokenized assets. The momentum is undeniable, yet retail investors haven't caught on. They're still completely missing the bigger picture, but we see it. Right now, XRP is in such a strong position, especially with everything happening from corporate adoption to the SEC case nearing a conclusion. I really believe the rest of this year could be huge for XRP and altcoins in general. Sure, we might be in a bit of a storm right now, but big things are coming. I came across an interesting post from Cointelegraph recently that caught my attention. It mentioned that Google's search interest for Bitcoin is now at the same level as when Bitcoin was priced around $16,000, 0 cents. Pretty fascinating, right? Got me thinking about where we are in the market cycle right now. Honestly, it feels so much like the October, November period of 2020. Back then, things were quiet. There was a lot of uncertainty, and people were talking about potential crashes. Sound familiar? But if history is any guide, I think we're getting really close to a major breakout for crypto as a whole. Remember late 2020, altcoins were selling off, Bitcoin was moving sideways, and then suddenly December rolled around, and by January 2021, everything absolutely exploded. It feels like we could be on the brink of something big again. Sure, there's a lot of fear in the headlines right now, but that's often how it goes right before the tides turn. It's pretty clear from Google searches and trend data that retail interest in crypto just isn't there right now. I've said this before, retail isn't focused on crypto at all, even though we're hovering around all-time highs. The same goes for XRP. Right now, XRP is trading around $2.00, but if you look at interest in XRP over the past 5 years, it's sitting at a level similar to mid-November and even July 2023. What surprises me is the lack of attention or buzz around XRP, especially given how high its value is compared to, say, the end of October. You'd expect more engagement, but retail just doesn't seem to care. For the past 5 months or so, the market has been stuck in a cycle of choppy trading and sell-offs, and it seems like that's turned a lot of people off. Hey everyone, before we jump into today's video, I want to take a quick moment to share something exciting with you. If you haven't already, check out the free Discord link down in the description. It's packed with tons of free value, and if you're interested, you can also join the paid side of the Discord for even more exclusive content. We're talking about insights from me, a full team of technical analysis experts, researchers, including, for example, Tokenizer. It's a great resource if you want to dive deeper, but no pressure, totally your call. All right, with that out of the way, let's dive into some interesting updates. First up, let's talk about XRP. Honestly, it's wild how little interest it's getting from retail right now, especially when we're so close to a resolution in the SEC case. Even Eleanor New from the SEC has been sharing updates, and yet the hype just isn't there. Ripple and the SEC have taken a big step forward in their ongoing case by jointly asking a Manhattan District Court to dissolve the injunction and release the $125 million 0 cent civil penalty held in escrow. Their proposal: Ripple would pay $50 million 0 cents to the SEC, with the remaining funds returned to Ripple. All right, this motion is part of a broader effort to settle the case, wrap up the pending appeals, and avoid any more legal battles between the two sides. While there's no exact timeline for when this will all be resolved, it really feels like we're getting closer. What's interesting is that their filing points to exceptional circumstances as a reason for moving forward. Things like a potential settlement, changes in the SEC's crypto policy, and a mutual desire to avoid further litigation. This comes after the judge's decision back in May, where a similar request for modification was denied. So are we on the verge of seeing something positive from all this? Maybe not just yet, But with the SEC's recent shift in its approach to crypto policy and all the positive updates coming out, it definitely feels like we're inching toward a resolution. Fingers crossed we'll see some tangible progress soon. One of the biggest questions around XRP right now is whether this is a make or break moment. And honestly, I don't think so. And let's not forget, there's still a major catalyst ahead. Oh, and by the way, XRP has been fully cleared, which is huge news. Now, the next big thing I'm keeping an eye on is ETFs. There's actually a significant update regarding Solana ETFs. According to Bloomberg, these ETFs are moving closer to approval as the SEC has asked 3 asset managers to revise their filings to address key features of the fund. Specifically, they're looking into how the funds will handle crypto redemptions and whether investors will be able to earn staking rewards with Solana tokens. While this update is focused on Solana, not surprising since this is a Solana-focused account, it's part of a broader trend. A new generation of crypto ETFs is inching closer to reality, and the SEC's involvement is a big step forward. Okay, so here's the deal. There's a big push happening around all the crypto ETFs right now. Let's talk about XRP for a second. On Polymarket, there's an 89% chance being predicted that an XRP ETF will get approved by 2025. Now, just to clarify, they're calling it Ripple, but we all know it's XRP, not Ripple. Important distinction. Of course, this is retail speculation, so it's not exactly a sure thing, but it's interesting to watch. What's really catching attention are the comments coming from some big names in the space. For instance, Naker Ashi recently posted about BlackRock, the same BlackRock that's been leading the way with spot Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. According to some insiders, BlackRock is expected to file for spot Solana and XRP ETFs soon. Why? Because they're dominating the crypto ETF game, and it wouldn't make sense for them to let competitors take over other top crypto asset categories. On top of that, they're also expected to file for an index-based crypto asset ETF. Now, here's the exciting part. If BlackRock files for an XRP ETF, it's almost a given that it'll get approved. Just like what happened with Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, history backs this up. Remember during Gensler's reign, once BlackRock filed for a Bitcoin ETF, it got the green light and was fully approved by January 2023. The same pattern could play out here. If BlackRock files, other XRP ETF filings will likely get pushed through too. It's all about setting a precedent, and BlackRock has a history of leading the way, so here's something wild. Remember back in January 2024 when the whole Bitcoin ETF situation was making waves? Well, at that time, Gensler put out a statement saying they didn't want to approve the Bitcoin ETF, but felt like they had to. And get this, who was behind that pressure? BlackRock. Yeah, if BlackRock files for an ETF, there's a 99% chance it's getting approved. That's exactly why I'm paying close attention to this and taking these ETFs seriously, especially since Nate, who has tons of experience in the ETF world, shared his thoughts on them. He's been around the block and knows his stuff. And honestly, I agree with his take. I've even mentioned this on the channel before. If we have Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, why wouldn't XRP be next? It's one of the biggest and most talked about digital assets, especially among retail investors. Plot in the last year, XRP has outperformed both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Oh, and here's something even more interesting. Bloomberg's ETF analysts just released an update. They broke down approval odds for crypto spot ETFs, including baskets and index funds. Right now, Litecoin and Solana are leading the pack with a solid 90% chance of approval. So let's talk about these baskets and indexes. It's wild to me that Litecoin and Solana are sitting at a 90% chance while XRP is at 85%. Like, how does that even make sense? Then we've got Dogecoin at 80%, ADA at 75%, DOT at 75%, HBAR at 80%, Avalanche at 75%, and SUI at 60%. Honestly, the market seems to be waking up to these crypto assets, and I really believe we're getting closer to seeing ETF announcements for some of them. My guess, we'll hear something around the fall. It's a perfect window for approvals, though, of course, it could happen sooner. Either way, this is a huge catalyst for crypto, especially altcoins. Now let's focus on altcoin ETFs. Getting one fully approved could be the spark that ignites alt season if we're not already there by then. And speaking of bullish moves, XRP has been on fire lately. In case you missed it, here are some big updates. ESDC is now live on XRP, which is huge. We've also got Guggenheim, a major US investment firm, tapping into Ripple's XRP ledger to offer tokenized commercial paper. And let's not forget the $500 million 0 cents treasury boost from Trident Digital. This NASDAQ listed company is raising up to $500 million, 0 cents, to create one of the first XRP focused corporate treasuries set to launch in 2020. This initiative includes long-term XRP holdings, staking, and ecosystem integration. Oh, and there's more. Vivo Power is joining the crypto treasury trend, raising $121 million, 0 cents, to launch an XRP reserve. This happened back in May. On top of that, Hyperscale plans to buy $10 million, 0 cents, worth of XRP by 2025 for a new institutional DeFi platform offering XRP loans to public companies. Let's talk about XRP for a second. Everyone is still buzzing about Bitcoin, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. Even Coinbase's CEO, Brian Armstrong, is talking about it. But honestly, I think people are missing the bigger picture here. It's not just about Bitcoin anymore. It's about altcoins. And right now, focusing solely on Bitcoin doesn't make much sense when you look at where the next wave of money is likely headed. Altcoins like XRP are where the real excitement is building. Why? Look at what's happening with ETFs and how corporate companies are moving. XRP in particular is at the top of the list as one of the most bullish altcoins right now. Companies are starting to add XRP to their treasuries or using the XRP ledger to tokenize assets of value. The momentum behind XRP is undeniable, yet retail investors seem to be missing it completely. But we're paying attention, and we think everyone else should be too. XRP is positioned so strongly right now, especially as we approach some big milestones like the resolution of the SEC case. This year could be game-changing for XRP and other altcoins. Sure, the market might feel a little stormy at the moment, but when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the potential is huge. We might see some bearish price action ahead, but I want you all to remember we've been through this before and we'll get through it again. The best part is this time isn't all that different. What's even better is that we now have so much information and evidence to back our confidence in XRP. There's a stack of bullish announcements piling up for XRP, with major moves happening across institutional, corporate, and enterprise spaces. And here's the thing, this momentum is putting serious pressure on the ETF side of things. If I were BlackRock looking at all these developments, I'd be thinking, wow, this is huge. We need an XRP ETF. Honestly, I think it's just a matter of time before BlackRock files for one. And from there, I believe we'll see XRP ETFs getting approved left and right. It's a similar pattern to what we saw with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So with that said, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more free content. Feel free to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord linked below. Thanks for watching. Peace out.